And good morning, and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster, and touching base with you every day as I do. And I hope you are all doing well today. And yeah, I had an amazing day today. Got up this morning, got up early. The weather again. I'm just in love. I'm just loving this streak of great weather in New York City. Yes, we had a hiccup this Saturday, but this week, I mean, it was 55 degrees when I woke up this morning. It was absolutely wonderful. Welcome to Touch Base Daily. Today is Tip Tuesday. And am I in the right place? Yes, I am in the right place. And let me just make sure you guys know. Let me see here. Let me go to our little video slides here. Make sure this is all set up for today. Yep, here we go. So today we'll be doing 7 texture hunt photography tips for capturing details. So this is a little bit of a more of an assignment that we're going to be giving you today. So that way this week you can play with your camera. Go out there with your smartphone, go out there with your mirrorless, go out there with your DSLR, film, whatever you decide you want to do it. But we're going to be talking about 7 tips for textual, if I say 7 textual hunt photography tips for capturing your details. So we're going to do that today. So hold on for that. That will be later on. But right now, it's all about you. My buddy, my dear friend, he's going through some things right now. So keep in your thoughts. I'll just say, you can just call him my dear friend. And but what he's taught me in this period of where he's going through some things, but also our friendship he has taught me some really cool stuff. And one of them is how's your heart? I love that. I mean, like we'll be talking, he'll go, so how's your heart? At first I thought it was a strange question. I was like, well, no one has ever asked me how am I feeling? How's my heart? Because the heart is like your soul. It's like inside of you. It's like really like in depths of who you are. How are you feeling? And since we have a wonderful community here, I'm asking you, how is your heart? How is your heart today? I mean, you can talk about just your physical heart as well, but I'm concerned about your heart. How are you feeling today? Are you dealing with anxiety? Are you sad? Are you happy? Are you glad? Are you full of joy? Are you grateful? How is your heart today? It is a good question. It is a good question to ask your loved ones, the people you care about. It's not just enough to say, hey, just how are you doing? Most people are just going to say, fine. Most people are going to say, okay. And then they move on. No need to go into depth, right? Because that's how most of us operate. Most of us operate on it's human, superficial level, and we don't go into depth. It's like when you're talking to some friends and you say, what are you doing what did you do this weekend? Chill. And usually when someone tells me chill, I just chilled. I go in and ask them lots of questions like, how did you chill? Like, why did you? I mean, chill is good. I don't bash it. But chill is not an answer. Chill. What did you do this weekend? Chill. That's not an answer. So then you have to ask them you have to go one step further and say, how did you chill? Right? How did you chill? And then they stop and pause, and then they think about it, and then they say, oh yeah, right. Yeah, I was hanging out around the house. I watched Netflix. I was looking at the series on Apple TV. I went hanging out at the bar. I was with some friends. We were at the fair. We have to, in the society that we live in, we have to ask that one more question, that one extra question, right? It's not just hey, how you doing today? Good. We're all programmed to say that. But when you ask somebody, so how's your heart feeling? People begin to say, whoa, now that's a question I did not anticipate. It causes you to pause. It causes you to think. It causes you to contemplate your situation, right? It causes you to reflect. How's your heart? So, how is your heart, Touch Base Daily Community family? How is your heart today? How is your heart today? How are you feeling? How are you doing? It's a lot of stress out in the world. There's a lot going on. Oh, there's a lot going on. We'll talk about that. There's a whole lot going on. The Supreme Court pisses us off once again, right? The Supreme Court. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. The Supreme Court. And yeah, our Supreme Court has been compromised. And there's enough blame to go around on this situation, on that particular subject. I do believe when the Democrats had the opportunity to, when they had the House and they had both chambers, and they'd had the presidency, they should have expanded the court. That should have been two things they should have done as soon as Biden took office. One, lock Trump up and throw away the key until they have his hearings. Then he would have never had a chance to run. Number two, they should have expanded the court immediately. But hindsight's 2020. And you can't have what they say Monday quarterbacking. And so that is what it is. We missed that opportunity. We missed those opportunities to maybe prevent what is happening today. But maybe it was just destined for us to go down that road, for us to have this moment, because I do believe there's a silver lining in this all. So anyway, before we go into that, let's say good morning to some folks. Let's say good morning to some folks that are in the building. Hannah was the first person in the building. She gets the gold today. Morning. Good morning, Ron and Touch Base Daily family. And Antonio was second silver. Mr. Anthony Rowland says, good morning. Kelly Hayes in the building. And she says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. And we have the wonderful Jazz. Oh, let me get Jazzy up there. Jazzy says, good morning, beautiful people. Can't stay today, but I had to get my like in. Thank you, Jazz. Yes, make sure you hit the likes. The algorithms only responds to your likes and your comments. If you're commenting a lot, the algorithms see, oh, there's something going on over here. And if you click the like, it says something's going on over there. And if you subscribe or share, it says, wow, something's really going on over there. So if you want to help this platform, if you don't have the finances to help, you can at least do the likes. You can do the likes and subscribes and the shares. How about that? That will cost you nothing but just a minute of your time. Kelly says the weather has been the best so far this week in Nashville. Woo! The East Coast, up and down the East Coast. They said, I do believe Florida's been getting some rain and showers or whatever. But the rest of us on the East Coast, it's looking good. The temperatures are below normal, which I don't know if that's an indicator to what kind of winter we're going to have. Maybe it'll start snowing before I leave. I would love to get some snow. So when I get to Africa, when I get to Namibia, there'll be no snow. There will be no snow in Namibia. And Kalia says, I'm feeling a little uncertain about some things, but still hopeful. Thank you, Kalia. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. That is an honest response. I am feeling a little uncertain and about some things, but still hopeful. Kelly, I want you to know you are not alone. You are not alone. I know I am feeling uncertain, and I'm feeling some kind of way some days. Some days I'm just like, whew, how are we going to get out of this? And then some days I see no hope. But then I just rest on my foundational principles. As long as I have community, as long as I have friends, as long as I have a platform like this to come to you guys every day and chat with you and connect with you, as long as I have friends that I can confide in and talk to, I'm going to be all right. But there's moments you don't feel like you're going to be all right. So Kelly, I am with you. I am with you. I see Elisa saying good morning. Good morning. I also see here the DS man is in the building. Mr. DS. Good morning, Ron DS here. I know who you are, DS. I know who you are. Bryson's in the building. Oh, I need a sip. It's Bryce. Oh, no, Bryson got a short one today. What's up, Ron? What's up, everybody? Happy Star Trek Day. Oh, how many of you are Trekkies? How many are Trekkies in the building? I am a Star Trek person. I looked at Next Generation. I looked at Star Trek, all the Star Treks, probably about 20 times each show, maybe 30 times each show. Then I looked at Deep Space Nine. Then I looked at, Voyager. And what's the other ones that came out from the Star Trek brand? I am a Trekkie. And when Voyager was on, that was when Adrian was in college. I guess I could say he was in college at that time. We used to have our father and son night, and we used to do Voyager night every Wednesday night, because we're Star Trekkies. Trekkies in our families. Trekkies. We are Trekkies. And but yeah, Star Trek. It is Star Trek Day. Since we're on the subject, well, first of all, how many are you? How many of you are Trekkies? I'm curious. How many of you are Trekkies? Oh, Kimmy Kim. Kimmy, that is why we are friends. Y'all, and I'm not going to tell you what this means, but because y'all the Trekkies know what this means. The Trekkies know what this means. You saw how easy it was for me to do that? It's just like second nature. That's like second nature. What does that mean? What does it mean, y'all? Trekkies. Yes, the Trekkies. We have an interesting way of seeing the world. Trekkie people see the world in a specific kind of way. Bryson says, I watched Star Trek Nimitz and Star Trek Insurrection. Nice. Trekkie. And Kimmy says, yep, I practiced that hand sign. I did that for years when I was a kid. Oh, yeah, there's like Mr. Spock. Mr. Spock. Yes. Did you know that this hand signal, this sign, comes from the Jewish faith? It comes from the Jewish faith. Live long and prosper. Okay, let's see here. I see here Kimmy says, yep, I practice the hand sign. And then, oh, Anthony's a Trekkie too. Yes, I see. I know who my peeps are. The Trekkies, we know who you can. Once you find out someone's a Trekkie, you know you've been good friends with them without knowing that they're Trekkies, you're like, it makes sense. It makes sense why we're friends. Because Trekkies see the world in a lot of variations of color. Can I say that? All you Trekkies out there, can I say that? We Trekkies see the world in variations of color. We don't see the world as black and white, even though Mr. Spock is very logical. But even though, as you saw Star Trek evolve, Mr. Spock became what? Mr. Spock eventually has some colors. started to infiltrate his. Remember, Dr. Spock was half human and half Vulcan, right? Hannah's in agreement. Yes, it's true. Trekkies, you wanna find out about someone without finding like being like direct, like who are you? You say, hey, I was watching a Star Trek show a couple of weeks ago, and what do you think about Star Trek? Do you like Star Trek? And if they say, oh, I never watched Star Trek, or I don't like Star Trek, you're like, yes. If you see someone and you add the Star Trekkie, that's like a test without being a test of who these people are when you meet them. Use the Star Trek what I call the filtration of people. Dr. Tati says, live long and prosper. Yes. Let me go back because you guys are talking, and I missed some of what you guys are saying. Yeah, we're getting rain this weekend. I saw that. And hey, Shannon Falk is in the building. One of my long-time friends, long-term. Do you know my friend Shannon right here? We don't get to hang out often, but she's as close as the mention of her name. And I have every card that she sent me. They're in a box right over here in the room there. After they used to be on the refrigerator, but when I put this house up for sale, I had to take my pictures off the refrigerator. But I have pictures of Shannon and her son from when he was a little kid, when he was a little guy, like a little guy, all the way to now he's a man. Shannon, I love you always. We don't get to chat, but this, Shannon, when I get this, I'm coming down to Delaware, and so when I come to Delaware, I'm gonna try and make a week of it in Delaware, so I can get to see you. I get to hang out with Chris. I get to hang out with my friend Vivian. I got a lot of friends in Delaware now. Miss Cuffy's in Delaware. There's a bunch of friends I have there. I need to do a week in Delaware, maybe 2 weeks in Delaware when I do my friendship tour. My friendship, I feel like I'm a rock star. I'm going on my friendship tour. Yes. And let me see what else is in here. Debbie Quinn is in the building today. What's up, Debbie? Debbie Quinn is in here. Good morning, RLP fam. Debbie's just getting back from her trip from Iceland. So we were comparing notes. I was so happy that she had a chance to go to Iceland. If you have not, you would love Iceland. Iceland is such a beautiful place. It's one of the best places in the world to visit. Lee says, I don't want to see snow. I love snow, y'all. I do love snow. In the wintertime, I believe in snow. Bryson says, okay. Bryson says, because next year, Star Trek 60 will be next year. Yes. And have y'all been looking at a series on Netflix called The Orphan Black? The Orphan Black. Man, that series is a mind twister. Such a good, my buddy put me onto it on Friday, and I have not stopped looking at it. And then I find out that the girl, she did win. She won some awards because she plays all of these multiple people, and it's based on all of these clones. Anyway, she is going to be in the new release of Star Trek. She is going to be in Star Trek. She's a Canadian actress. I don't have her name offhand, but she is, I don't know if it's Tabitha something. Maybe it is Tabitha, but she's a Canadian actress. So good. If you have not seen The Orphan Black, man, it's a mind twister. It will get your brain going. It'll make you think about, is this possible? And the wonderful Kaz is in the building. She says, blessed, tenacious Tuesday, all. Tip Tuesday. It is. Yes, it is. If you're late, again, we will be talking about 7 texture hunt photography tips for capturing details. That is our subject for today. So we'll be doing that in a little bit. And also, let's see what else is in the building. What else are you guys saying? Kim says, hello, Kelly A. I have a family member recently moved from Florida to Clayton, Tennessee. Is that far from Nashville? And Mr. DS says, DS is always in the building with wisdom. Hey, Ron, whenever you get a chance, what influenced your decision to go on the journey you have chosen to go on once all goes through with the sale of your home? Oh, DS, you're trying to get personal. No, I've shared it publicly. Well, what I realized when I was living in South Africa in 2017, 16 into 17, I realized that this is where I would like to live, South Africa. One, I love the people. Two, I love the landscapes. I can fly into Cape Town and enjoy the mountains like literally you can take a city bus to the mountains, Table Mountain, go hiking in the morning, and then get on the bus and come down like a regular MTA bus for them, and then ride down and then go to the coast and hang out on the beach. I like it because it's a California type in climate. However, without the California some of it snobbery. You know, California is a unique kind of place. I mean, you cannot ever say California is one thing in a brush, a paintbrush. California has so many personalities and so many cultures embedded in the state. And then the landscapes of California are rugged and mountainous, and then you have the dry areas, and you have all these places where you can go. You can go not too far from the redwood forest. California is just a unique kind of place, but South Africa has a California feel, if that makes sense. Cape Town is very much like Los Angeles, but clean, friendlier, and a lot cheaper. But my decision making is that I am a real believer of this, and this comes from my financial background. The rule of thumb in life is to diversify. And once you lose the ability to diversify your assets, then you are at risk. So by diversifying your assets, whatever that means, that's different for every individual. But in my case, a lot of my asset was in my home, which is the warning bell goes off. And what I mean by that is because I have my wealth in my home, if something happened to my home, then my wealth is damaged greatly. So the best way to survive this next chapter of my life as a senior citizen, which sometimes it's hard to say because I don't feel like a senior citizen. I don't feel like a senior citizen. I mean, there's days I wake up with pains and aches in ways that, I probably haven't had ever, and they come and go. But as a senior citizen, rule of thumb, and I know a lot of people don't like to hear, but again, this is all about every person has their own financial situation. You have to have diversity. Diversify your assets, meaning if one of your assets dies or is over, you will still live a comfortable life. You still will have the ability to continue to live normally, whatever that normal is. Normal is a subjective, right? So I decided, instead of having all my assets in one place, I'm like Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett says cash is king. I just had this conversation with my neighbors yesterday. And I am challenging all my senior citizen friends, or if you are heading towards your senior citizen life, you may need to reevaluate how you live. And less is more when you're a senior. A lot of times when you go into a senior's home, it's filled with clutter and stuff that they accumulated, things that are beautiful and that were precious to them as they travel the world. And they went from their 20s to their 30s to their 40s, their 50s. And now they got to start thinking about, what does 60, 70, 80 look like? Another thing that I do, I'm giving you a bunch of gems today. How about that? Another thing I like to do, this is me particularly, I am thinking about in 3 stages. I think of my world in 3 stages. I think about what is happening now, in the moment, what is happening 3 to 5 years from now, and then I'm thinking about what is my life going to look like 10 years from now. The reason I'm able to do that, or the reason why I don't know how I got into that, I guess it's because of, again, the financial background of being on Wall Street for 15, 16 years. Your brain is wired to not, or I said they train you. I mean, I studied for my Series 7, my 6.3, and all that other stuff. But your brain is wired to think of the future. They talk about Wall Street. Wall Street is not about the moment, meaning the stock exchange or the Dow Industrials or the NASDAQ or the indexes. You are thinking about the future. When you are investing in stocks and money markets and index funds and all that stuff, bonds and all that stuff, you are thinking about the future in different increments. For instance, bonds may be 5 years out, 10 years out, 25 years out. So my brain is wired to think in increments in the future. Same thing when I left my company at the Container Store. I saw the writing on the wall that retail was going to change. It was going to change, and I had already been there for 12 years at my company. So being there I know it's a long explanation, but I'll take you where I need to take you. When I was at the retail store, I was a visual merchandiser there. I realized I was there for 12 years, and I had 12 more years to go before retirement. So I was like in the middle of my life kind of like planning situation. 12 years at this company, and now I have 12 years ahead. What am I going to do? Do I stay at this company, or do I expand my world? Do I expand my life? Do I expand how I'm going to live life? And I decided to leave that company and start my next chapter of my life at 52. I was turning 52, and I left the company because I saw the writing on the wall. Same thing when I bought this apartment. I saw the writing on the wall. My friends were like, "You're going to buy in that neighborhood. That's the hood." I was like, they're not putting down all these cables, painting the public housing, changing the wires, adding new stuff in the streets, CATV, all that stuff for nothing. They're definitely not doing it for us. And so I've always had the ability to see the writing on the wall. I believe, and I seriously believe, and I say this without giving you fear, where America is about to go is going to be very devastating to most people living here, financially, assets, equity, portfolios. If you own property, if you have ownership of stocks and all that stuff, this is the moment right now to reevaluate. Warren Buffett, who's one of my favorite role models in the financial world, has been doing this for about 5 years. I want to say 5 years, maybe 6 years. Putting everything into cash, getting rid of stuff. This is not fun, but I am not a financial advisor. Let me give you the what they call the disclosure. This is just what I'm doing for myself. You are at a point in your life when you are in your 50s to start strategizing for your senior living. What will your senior life look like? But in this, if you are in your 50s right now, you may not have enough runway to recover from what's coming. Can I say that again? You may not have enough runway to recover from what's coming. Now, if you're younger, you're in your 20s and 30s, the financial markets and the state of the country moves in cycles. Usually they're roughly between 7-10-year cycles. Real estate is up, real estate goes down, real estate goes up, real estate goes down. Stock market goes up, stock market goes down, stock market goes up, stock market goes down. I am a senior. I'm a senior citizen. I am a senior citizen. And my runway is less ahead of me. I don't have enough runway to recover. If the whole financial situation crushes, I don't have enough runway to recover. So it is what I ended up doing was selling my apartment so I could create the ability to create a runway for myself, or more like a preserving of myself through what's about to happen. I don't usually talk like this on I don't usually talk like this on publicly, especially on platforms like this.
No problem. I won't.
No, Siri, not you. And but I think this is important. I think Elise is like sometimes my my barometer in my head sometimes. But I think this is necessary conversation. Because if you are a senior citizen or heading into your senior citizen years, you have to take a moment to reevaluate your whole being, who you are. Do you need all the things you have? Most likely, no. What I am proud about is that me doing this has spurred my friends, my peers, who we are all in the same age group, to do the same. One of my buddies, three of my buddies outdid me. I just mentioned to them what I was going to do. They did it in such a fast, rapid rate. They sold their homes, they packed their homes up, they stopped renting, whatever the thing is, and now they're moving, going to places, living in other places. One of my friends, one of my best friends, who I hang out with all the time. He goes, Ron, you're leaving, and my sister needs help. You know what? I'm getting rid of everything. I'm packing up and I'm heading down, to Florida. When you are a senior citizen, you have to see the world differently, and you have to be also willing to adjust as a senior citizen. In every decade, there's a different 10-year plan. You have to reevaluate every 10 years. So whether it be, like for me, it just happens to be on my 52s. I don't know why it's that way. I don't know how. I did not plan it that way. 42, I made decisions. 52, I made a decision. And now I'm heading to 62. And at 62, I'll be in another country and live between two countries. But my assets will be so diversified that if I take a hit somewhere, it's not going to affect the rest. It'll be all over the place. It'll be diversified rather than in one spot. And we who live in vulnerable cities like New York, Washington, D.C., L.A., Chicago, Houston, Dallas, Philadelphia. We live in vulnerable cities where if you have real estate in these cities, and I don't want to use such if something devastating happens in those cities and your assets are all in your home, then you've lost everything. Just like the folks in LA during the LA fires. So we as seniors have to think differently. You in your 40s, because there's people in this community that are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. That's the demographics of Touch Base Daily. Touch Base Daily is 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Mainly 48, 58 is our demographic here for this platform. So you have to think about putting money aside in a way that you can get to it and also you preserve your wealth. So I know that's a long answer to your question, and I hope that you are learning from this long answer. FRR says, my financial advisor told me last week that I was as young that day as I would ever be. And DS says, I'm in my 20s. Oh, and Dr. Tachi says, the food plane. Okay, here we go. And Anthony says, we have a meeting coming up with our financial advisor. Diversification is a must. Kimmy Kim says, yes, I have been thinking about losing my home based on what this current administration could do. Yeah, let me count, says DS. He says he's in his 30s. Okay, there you go. He's in his 30s. Kelly A says, confirmation, I'm 52, and I've been thinking of and evaluating a lot. Kimmy, he says, Kimmy, I thought that was a Jamaican accent, but you meant thinking. FRR said, it is a needed conversation. This conversation is needed. Kimmy says, don't wait until you get there to start thinking about it. Absolutely. Food Plan says, I appreciate you being transparent, Ron. A lot of meat in what you just said. And Kim says, good information, Ron. Sharon says, yes, I'm terrified. I know I need to take what I have and leave the country. FRR says, the Oracle of Omaha. Yes, our wonderful man. DS says, at the end of the day, it's not so much the years you're in your life that matters as much as the life in your years. Rosemary is in the building. Hey, Rosemary, I see you. She goes, literally, it's a daily process. The fibers are going in the ground. DS says, great explanation. Thanks for sharing, Ron. Makes sense. I was curious. It sounds like fun. So also, like I said, I very rarely do something without planning the whys behind it. For instance, I try to, I would say in 70% of my life, maybe 75%, I could say, 75% of the things I do in my life have future observations on. I'm always thinking in 10-year plans. I'm just wired that way. I don't think America is going to be around in 10 years. That's just my personal belief. I don't think America will be around as we know it. There'll be some form of it, but it won't be what it is today. I do believe, y'all ready? Buckle your seatbelts up. Y'all ready for this one? I've seen some commentaries in the same way. California, Oregon, Washington will probably leave the United States. New York, the Northeast will probably succeed and leave the United States. And then there's going to be some form of some kind of strange United States left. It's not far-fetched. Now that I also know that there are, when I read the news and I look at what is going on, there's a proposition in California to succeed. Texas has always been trying to succeed. And when you think about what's happening under the gerrymandering in the country, tick for tat, this country cannot survive in this condition. It is an old universal conversation. Abraham Lincoln said, and it's based biblically, a house divided cannot stand. A house divided cannot stand. And there are too many splinters right now for this country to ever come back. And I know that sounds hard to hear. My brother, my brother gets upset when I say it. But we Americans have to start thinking outside the box. I sat down 2 years ago at Photoville with a gentleman, photojournalist, who traveled the migration routes with the Venezuelans who escaped the falling of their country. Venezuela was a full democracy. It had doctors, lawyers, educators, scientists. Venezuela was a shining democracy in South Africa, I should say South America and Central America and the whole region, the southern region. And he said he sees all of the signs that happened before the fall of Venezuela happening right now in America. It was like 2 years ago he was telling me this. And he shared with me that they didn't see it coming. No one wanted to believe that doctors, lawyers, educators would have to pack their bags and leave a country that they loved and migrate to Mexico, Nicaragua, United States. It was unimaginable. And here we are. Venezuela is, people say, but these are not bad people leaving Venezuela. I'm sure there are some bad people in Venezuela, But these were doctors. These are doctors and lawyers that have migrated to this country. People in Hungary didn't think it could happen there. I'm giving you modern day collapses of democracies in the world right now. Hungary did not think it could happen to them. And now they're under an autocrat. Their democracy has fallen. And for those that don't understand what America looks like to the world right now, there are all kinds of warnings to their fellow citizens not to come to America, because America is a dangerous, failed democracy. I know this hurts. I know this hurts to hear. But we're in the community together. We're in this community together. And not everyone can, and I'll say this, not everyone can flee and run. Most people will stand together. And that's the only way to survive this, is to stand together. Community is going to be the new word of survival in America. It is going to transform the way Americans live. I had a conversation today. I just had a meeting with, I posted this. I'm ambassador to the Manhattan Chamber of Commerce. So we had a big meeting on AI today. The people are not ready for what AI is capable of doing and how it's going to transform the way we do business in America and the world. This is not a bad thing. Don't get me wrong. This is not an enemy. AI is not your enemy. As a matter of fact, if you are thinking about diversification in finance, you need to diversify in your intellectual knowledge. If you are afraid of AI, then you need to dive into it 100%. You need to take classes. You need to go to school, take free classes online, look up whatever's happening in the AI world. All of these companies are now shifting. I was in a workshop sponsored by MasterCard today. I was about 2 minutes late. I ran from there in the city, from Midtown, to get here to you guys. Bunch of business owners were all in this meeting. Big corporations that use AI, like AI is it. It does everything for them. There is no need for people. Those days are gone in the sense of the old days. However, what is happening in the world, and this is to your advantage, and this is from an entrepreneur, and there's some entrepreneurs in this community, like G is in the building. AI makes you an amazing business person. If you can harness it, it does everything for you if you can learn it. The gentleman who was the CEO of a company, he gave his presentation on AI, and he says, "Oh, I use my AI all the time. I use AI all the time too. This lesson I'm going to give you was prepared through me and working with AI." And he gave a whole presentation. He said he gave the parameters, he did what he needed to do, gave it to the AI. The AI spit it out in 15 minutes, slide presentation, everything. I was like, "Oh, I need this particular." It's called Mangus. I don't know if anyone's heard Mangus, Mangus. It's a program. And it's helping CEOs do amazing stuff. They don't need regional managers anymore. No more general managers for stores. He's talking about his retail business. No, they just have a flat tier of people working for them and working with them. Entrepreneurship, working in the future, is going to be different. Most of these jobs that are gone are not coming back. Most of the jobs that are here today are going. What will be happening in the future? So I've been hearing from these CEOs, and now that I had this beautiful AI class today, the future is going to look different. G says here, the choice to replace human labor with AI is just that, a choice. AI is a tool that would be best used to enhance human labor and the customer experience. However, what it does, it's great at, is that if you are starting a business today, it's the greatest time in the world. I mean, I know there's some forces out there that are bad. There's some definitely situations going on financially. But if you are starting a business and you have the finance and the capital to do it, and the strength and the tenacity, because it's no easy task to be an entrepreneur, it's work. It's real work. But AI has given you the ability to do so much. Think about all the, like Canva. Gwendolyn and I talk about this all the time. We use Canva. I use Canva for everything. STREAMYARD. I'm on this platform with STREAMYARD. Back in the day, you had to have a broadcast, your studio. Now I'm just a small guy, right? I'm not NBC, ABC, CBS. But look, I'm online talking to you in my studio. This is my studio, but it's AI technology that's making this possible. So it's not the enemy. It's a tool, like Gwendolyn said. But we have to diversify in our knowledge. So not only do you have to diversify as senior citizens, as pre-senior citizens, as 40-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 20-year-olds, you have to think of the world differently. You have to be diversifying financially, diversify intellectually, diversify in your friendships and relationships and networking. Join networking events and opportunities to meet, create community. Community is going to be so important in this next chapter of American history. All this individualism that we've been going through since the 60s is pretty much over. There'll be some forms of it. I mean, hello, you're an entrepreneur. But you as an entrepreneur are going to have to connect with other entrepreneurs. You as a small business owner are going to have to hang out with other small business owners so you can compare notes and become better at what you do. Diversification. Okay, I did not mean to go down that whole long road, but I hope it benefits someone today. Thank you, DS. I could go on and on. I got so much knowledge today. I'm almost like, my brain was like, oh my gosh. I love AI. I tell people all the time, for someone that suffers from dyslexia, I say suffer, that may be a bad word, it's not suffer. I am challenged by dyslexia. It's not suffering, definitely. It's a superpower, believe it or not. My dyslexia is a superpower. It helps me to think I don't think like everybody else, but I'm able to really think out some stuff quite rapid because of my dyslexia. But there's some obviously challenges being dyslexic. And AI has given me given me life. For people like me who take forever to write something, All I do is just run my thoughts on like on my chat chat GPT or here on my what was this, my Copilot. I just throw it all that stuff information in there, and then I'm ready to go. Ready to go. Ready to go. I just throw my mind, everything is in my mind. And then I say, now make this grammatically appealing for my Touch Base Daily community. And it goes, and then I just tweak, and I'm ready to go. I say that because it's so important. Okay, DS says AI is taking over repetitive, time-consuming tasks, data entry, scheduling, bookkeeping, customer service, chatbots. Oh, I'm not even going. Maybe Gwendolyn needs to come on and do her robotics conversation. You ain't seen nothing yet. The robots are here. That frees up humans to focus on higher level strategies, creativity, and relationship building. Go ahead, DS. Go ahead, DS. And Gwendolyn chimes in and says that should be the plan, but we're not seeing that. Rosemary says, my son is also challenged with dyslexia. It's the best. Let me tell you, it's just a challenge. It's just a challenge. But when we harness our dyslexia, it's a superpower. Rosemary says, united, we stand up again and remain standing. G says, the current AI push to replace humans is a simple disguise of good old-fashioned greed. I don't believe it's going to end well. See self-checkout as exhibit A. And okay, let's go to our class. Let's get our class on and we'll get out of here. Okay, that's enough. I gave you enough life tips for today, but I hope it helps someone. I hope it makes someone happy and you got some information. Okay, let's go real quick into this. And this is a quick lesson, as usual. Our lessons are quick. 7 texture hunt photography tips for capturing details. This is so important if you're a photographer and you love taking pictures and pictures on the details. So important. Texture hunt is a poetic invitation to slow down and see the world through a more tactile lens. Perfect for our visual storytelling. Here's a set of curated tips you can share with Touch. I'm sharing with Touch Base Daily. See, I didn't even change that up to inspire deeper engagements and shape and sharper techniques. Next, number 1, get close, then close. Closer. Use a macro lens or your phone's portrait mode to zoom in on fine details. I mention this all the time when I do food photography. When I'm doing my food, I have the regular lens and then I click into portrait and it gives me that beautiful magazine food photo when I'm on the run. Okay, zoom in on fine details. Look for surfaces with contrast, cracked paint, woven fibers, rusted metal, freckled skin. Look for it. Look for the small things. Light is everything in this. Number 2, light is everything. Side lighting, natural or artificial, enhances textures by casting shadows. Try golden hour for warmth or harsh midday light for dramatic contrast. That's right. Take your phone. That's what, sometimes use that light you have in your phone, that light, like the little flashlight, you can change the intensity of it and then kind of like sit it on the wood surface or whatever surface you want to do it. And then take the picture. And what will happen is that light can cause some shadows and it makes it a little interesting. Or have someone do it from the other side and create shadows towards you. But don't be afraid to use outside lighting. Light is everything. If you don't have natural light, create one. Go use the light, flashlight on your phone. Or like my friends like to do, when we're all in the restaurant, I'll say, Winter, light it up. So Winter takes her phone and she lights it up, and then I take the picture, and then I light my phone up, light it up, the food up with my phone, and then she takes her pictures because we both like to take pictures of food. Focus manually. Autofocus can miss subtle ridges or patterns. Switch to manual focus to control sharpness. Also, when you're down, the focus can get like a little scattered, like it can't find what to focus on. So you have to do it manually. And that's usually in your mirrorless or DSLRs, because you can't really do it in your smartphone. Focus on the most tactile part of the surface, like the grain in the wood or the stitching in the fabric. Also, think about play with angles. Shoot from oblique angles to exaggerate the depth. Like, for instance, get real sharp on the thing that's closest to you so that the things that are going backwards away from you start to fade off. Like you see here with these logs, right? Flat on shots work well for symmetrical or pattern textures like tiles or lace. Number 5, adjust aperture thoughtfully. You know, here it is, a shallow depth of field, f2.8. This is for those that have the mirrorless cameras, DSLR, and also film cameras. A shallow depth of field, f2.8, or up to a f5.6, isolates texture from the background. In layman's terms, it makes it clear that's close to you, and then anything that drops off as it continues backwards begins to soften. Now, in the opposite, a deeper depth, f8, f11, captures more of the surface for layered storytelling, meaning those numbers like the f8, f9, and the 11, all the way up. Then everything is clear all the way back. Okay? Layman terms, because not everybody in the building is a professional photographer. Number 6, edit with intention. Boost your contrast and clarity to emphasize texture. That's the only time you should really exaggerate on your contrast and clarity, is when you are doing texture shots, like real, like texture. And texture doesn't mean small. It could be like when I take pictures when I was in Namibia of the dunes and the sand and the deserts and the wavy lines in the sand. Or it could be like the small leaf with water droplets on it. And then this always looks good when you're doing textiles or you're doing textures. Convert to black and white to strip distractions and highlight the form. Like you see here. Look at the shadows on the sides here. Look at the shadows. Look at the light. Look at the lines. Look at the lights. Look at the, but it's not color. You don't know what this looks like in color. But what you can tell about this picture is the texture of what is being shown here. Okay? Number 7, last but not least. Number 7, hunt everywhere. Hunt everywhere. Textures lives in the overlooked tree bark, the subway tiles, the denims, wrinkled hands. You are encouraged to explore your homes, neighborhoods, and even your own skin. I have a thing about hands. I love taking pictures of hands, and especially elderly people and their hands. Their hands are a blueprint of what the life they lived. So I love the texture, looking into the hand texture, the wrinkles, the creases. That's just my thing. But there's details in everything. Find the details, and you will find a different type of photography for yourself. The clouds, because of Rashawn in our community, she loves clouds. She's reignited my love for clouds. So now when I go out in the evenings, I take pictures of clouds again. because of the textures of the clouds, the wispy clouds, the cotton candy looking clouds. Get out and explore texture. I bet you never thought about doing texture photography. Textures, they're all around you. In conclusion, this week, we're zooming in, literally. Texture Hunt invites you to capture the tactile beauty of everyday surfaces, wood grain, rusted metal, woven fabrics, even skin. We talked about that. Use close-up side lighting and throughout the angles to reveal the stories textures tell. Whether you shoot in color or black and white, let each image evoke touch, memory, and presence. Let's turn the overlooked into the unforgettable. Unforgettable. That's what you are. Yes. Make your week of photography unforgettable. And I guarantee you, next week when you come back, if you play with the textures of things in your life, it's going to give you a whole new perspective of photography. So go out and do it. Why not? Why not go out and do it, right? I think that's it. So here we go. Make sure you join the email list so that way I can stay in contact with you. I do not send a lot of emails out. So it's really just to stay in contact with you in case we have to. And there's none of this app stuff, you know? Maybe there's no way to talk to you online, but I can still talk to you through email. Also, if you're looking for an event photographer, I do event photography. And I love photographing events, whether it's your corporate event, whether it's your residential event. I like photographing, and I also do journalism. So that is photojournalism, which is an event, lots of events. Okay. Also, thank you to our Patreon community for being a part of us. If you are not a part of the Patreon community, join our Patreon community. Also, if you're here, make sure you hit the likes, like and subscribe. Join our YouTube channel here. I hope that it can benefit you. I come here because I just like sharing. I like being with you. I hope you like being with me. I enjoy you. So that's why I'm here. Come on out and share this with other people. Share this platform with other people. Hopefully they will learn something. And I hope you learned something today too. I think we covered a lot of subjects today. Nat King Cole. Yes. I love Nat King Cole. Dia says, do you ever think about textures almost like fingerprints of the world? Totally unique. Yes. It's just like fingerprints. The world has its own fingerprints. Everything has its own fingerprints. Yeah, everything has its own signature. Yes, I do, DS. I do. I see here you said textures are like nature's abstract art pieces. Yes. Oh, yes, DS. Yes. Kimmy says, I was just taking close-up shots of flowers yesterday for my IG and YouTube page. Lots of texture. That's right, Kim. And I bet the more you zeroed in on those objects or those flowers, you began to see a whole new world. You begin to see the fine lines of the veins of each petal. Man, it's intellectually stimulating. I don't want to say it's orgasmic, but it's really good when you discover a whole new world photographically. Dia says, tried a texture hunt once accidentally zoomed in on my cat's nose. Instant masterpiece. Yes, also says, it's crazy how zooming in and on something ordinary turns it into a whole new universe. Yeah, exactly. And then yes, Dia says he uses his macro for food close-ups. We got 3 lenses on our phones. It's usually zoom, macro, and normal. Use those lenses on your smartphones. Okay, guys, that was it. I think we did it all. We did it all. We only went over. I think we're within our good time. Again, thank you for joining me today. I hope you have a wonderful day ahead. I will talk to you later. Hello, and thank you for joining us today. Make sure you hit the like, the subscribe, and leave a comment on this video. I would love to hear from you. Thank you again. Until I see you next time.